Hello everyone, we're Group 6. Today we're going to give a presentation on the Belt and Road Initiative. It was first proposed by President Xi in 2013. It is served as a platform to connect Asia, Europe, and Africa to enhance global cooperation. The initiative covers 63% of the world population and 29% of the world's GDP. BNR strives to achieve the following 5 goals, including enhancing policies coordination, strengthening facilities connectivity, encouraging unimpeded trade, fostering financial integration, and promoting people-to-people bonds among countries.
So I will talk about the analysis on Southeast Asia. The BRI has connected China and the Asian economically. The Asian is a fast-growing region, and it is expected to be developed economically with strengthened international and regional linkages. The BRI has been developing an extensive rail networks to deliver technology and services in a regional way. The most important railways are shown below. For positive impacts, the Asian could be China's largest trading partner in the future. The trading between China and the Asian will become more easier and more convenient if with highways developed, making transportation cheaper. Both sides' imports and exports could be increased. The Asian's GDP could be improved. The development of the Asian can be enhanced. With BRI, Beijing has helped the developing nations to build infrastructures like hydropower projects and major highways. More new companies could set up because of BRI. More than 300 Chinese-funded startups have been set up in 8 Asian countries in 2016. For negative impacts, the regional body's unity may be threatened. China may make use of economic incentives to lead the Asian states into broader cooperation with it. They may rely highly on China and have more pressure on recalculating their strategic alliances. And there may also be invisible costs for OBOR. There is lack of publicly available data from BRI, and the Asia may need to borrow more to pay off the debts. For opportunities, OBOR links between economic and political partnerships in the region. Technology transfer and PPP can also be enhanced. For risks, in economic point of view, in short term, there may be conflicting monetary policies, and in long term, the global economic structure and trading is changing. For legal, WTO may need to accept the new agreement and arrangement, and there is insufficient legal frame. To cope with the risks, a sample share strategy is recommended, including the common interest, common responsibility, and common destiny among the partners.
This catalog analysis provides an analysis of BRI on Europe. Firstly, for the positive impacts on the economic aspect, the BRI can connect with the Juncker Plan, which will help to stimulate the economic growth in Europe by enhancing connectivity mutually and extending a single market in Europe to the big market in Eurasia. For transportation, the newly established connection between Europe and China would generate lower transportation costs and also shorten the transportation time. For example, the Chongqing-Duisburg railway line was built in 2016, and this helps to reduce the transportation time between the two cities by 12 to 13 days. On a political aspect, the BRI would heighten the chance for regional integration within Europe, for instance, having Eastern Partnership and Mediterranean Partnership. While for the military aspect, regarding infrastructure, a new Asia-Europe maritime line which combines transport passage is built under the BRI, which relies on the Belgrade-Budapest railway and the Piraeus port in Greece. Furthermore, it also provides a chance to push forward a comprehensive strategic partnership between the EU and China. Well, for the negative impacts, the first one is that it may have a negative impact on economic and security of Europe. The BRI may gradually destroy the political unity and cohesion within Europe. Most of Chinese investments with Central, Eastern, and Southern European countries come with political strings attached, and this will lead to an increase in the influence of China both at country level and EU as a whole. Secondly, the BRI actually facilitates dumping, as China can tackle the problem of industrial overcapacity domestically by exporting goods that are priced below its production costs, which would increase the pressure on the industries in Europe with new infrastructures that would lower the transportation costs. For the opportunities of BRI to Europe, the first one is it has bridged Europe with Asia, which will facilitate in the transformation in the economies among the participating European countries with a huge amount of investment that the initiative will be able to generate and bring in. The second one is that European companies will have the opportunity to supply products to contractors in China where environmental standards are high or where the projects require advanced technologies. For example, Envision Energy, which is based in Shanghai, acquired Basefield recently, a provider of wind farm management systems from Norway. Well, for the risks, the first one is the geopolitical tension between Eurasian Economic Union and EU. The cooperation between these two has ceased, and the future discussion of challenges and prospects concerning the cooperation across the Eurasian space has to be justified in order to eliminate this risk. The second risk is the unsustainable debt burdens and losing of political control. European countries like Greece, Montenegro, Ukraine are cooperating with China on the BRI. China has bought a commanding share of the Piraeus port during the debt crisis of Greece in 2015. However, this has actually given China a political foothold in Greece and by extension in Europe. To resolve this, the European countries should actually encourage savings within the country in order to eliminate risk.
In the following, I will talk about the positive and negative impact of the Belt and Road Initiative on China. Better international recognition of the Chinese legal system. China is going to set up international courts, and the courts will follow international rules. Lower dependency on the US. US imports the most Chinese shipment. By adopting the initiative, China will have new export market, and China can depend less on the US. Establishing better connectivities. For example, the regular rail cargo services from Chongqing to Germany, which implies that Chinese firms can now ship their goods from China to Europe in a faster but cheaper ways. Creating employment opportunities for Chinese workers. In 2014, the engineering teams of China were appointed to construct and operate the hydropower stations overseas. Negative impact. Worsening the discriminations against Chinese products. Chinese goods are easier to be sold to the country along Belt and Road. With the assumption that the quality of Chinese products will not improve too much, more people will discriminate against Chinese products and even affect the image of China. Influencing the daily life of Chinese citizens. The construction work will negatively affect the daily life of citizens who live in the surrounding, such as air pollution and noise pollution. In this session, we will use Hong Kong and Chengdu to illustrate the opportunities under the initiative. Additionally, we will talk about the risks of the initiative on China. Hong Kong. With the better infrastructure, such as the high-speed rail, people can easier to extend their business to Hong Kong. Chengdu. It is the only city in Western China that will have two airports, and it is located in the middle of China. Therefore, it had a great potential to become an important trading center. Risk of bad debt. The average liability of more participating countries has reached 35% and debt ratio of 126%. It means that the Chinese organization may not be able to collect the Eastern loan, and this loan may eventually become bad debt.
And now we're going to talk about the outlook to the future after being affected by One Belt and One Road initiative. We are going to talk about it in four aspects, namely political, economic, social, and technological areas. For political point of view, China has been facing the threat from US. For example, US formed alliance by Trans-Pacific Partnership and actively engaging in territorial disputes on southern China Sea. Also, China and US has been debating on trade-related issues. By executing One Belt and One Road initiatives, China will be able to strengthen its political power. On top of that, China would be able to establish a safety barrier, enabling advanced national security. There will also be better cooperation on infrastructure and policy formulation.
Next, consider the economic factor. As China is the main hub engaging in trading and investment activities, it is expected that global companies will widely support the use of renminbi to enable greater convenience in transactions. More overseas investors will conduct investment activities in China, and that leads to an increase in demand for renminbi as loans. Together, this promotes the internationalization of renminbi. Secondly, there will be growing importance of poor countries such as Pakistan and Bangladesh. Engaging in BNR infrastructure projects boosts their GDP. According to findings, the BNR projects takes up about 20% and 15% of GDP in these two countries. Moreover, more companies will shift their investment in these regions due to low labor cost. This shapes poor countries in Asia to become more important.
For social point of view, through organizing international cultural exchange activities according to Overseas Chinese Cultural Center Development Plan, we are able to further promote Chinese culture to the globe. And hopefully, with increasing cultural exchange opportunities, cultural enterprises will follow international legal standards. Also, society will be encouraged to engage in cultural development. Talents will also be developed for diplomacy and cultural management.
Technology factor, it is expected that BNR foster the development of renewable energy. As being seen today, many BNR countries are facing a shortage in power supplies. China has invested over 7,000 million USD in renewable energy projects. Turkey also proposed a cut of import price of solar panels by 50%. Countries are placing great emphasis on renewable energy. Increased cooperation thanks to the BNR initiatives will foster the development of this sector. Besides, there will be an increased demand for technologies to achieve supply chain efficiency. As BNR initiatives opens up new opportunities for business to expand globally, so to obtain real-time information, technologies are inevitable. For example, implementing systems to standardize the clearance of goods among countries and also the use of AI tools to give a faster response to changes. Businesses will begin to demand new technologies to secure their supply chains and consistency.
To conclude, the Belt and Road Initiative not only assists China in enhancing its national power, but also help its alliances in developing in all aspects. Although some say that it would lead to conflicts between certain countries, we can still see that the policy is bringing much benefits, and we're still looking forward to see the changes brought by the Belt and Road Initiative.